All right, ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that one of the world's most influential books, one of the world's most revered books, was translated wrong? And we're talking about the Christian Bible. And if you've seen my first video on this channel, I went through Genesis 1:1 and looked at a few of the Hebrew translation of the words, and we found out that the words aren't quite what they appear to be. They aren't quite what they appear to mean. And so today we're going to go into Genesis 1:2. Let me share the screen here so we can do this together. There we go. So we're looking in here. The land, down here there's all the versions. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So that's a pretty cryptic verse, you could say. The creation story. Right after, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, which we found out was not just the beginning. It was at the choicest time, the finest, the first fruits, the foremost. At the choicest time, the Elohim, go back and watch the video if you haven't, the Elohim molded, shaped the sky and the land. So now let's go to the interlinear here. As it loads up. Sorry about that. All right. And the earth was formless and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. So first things first, just remind ourselves what the earth was, and the earth, all one word, Eretes, or Eretz, not sure exactly how to say that, but word origin, a prime root, earth, land, the land right there. Common countries, countries and their lands. So it's land, folks. The land, so, and the land was, this is really interesting, was verb to fall out, come to pass, become, be. And then look at all these other related words, translations. So the land fell out of, or became, so the land became formless. So the land became formless. It's not and the earth was. It's the land became formless. What is formless? It's not formless. It's translated wrong. That's what we're getting at here. Formless from an unused word. Formlessness, confusion. Confusion, unreality. So the land was formless, was unreal, unreality. It didn't exist yet, pretty much. There was confusion, emptiness. So, and the earth became, not was, it fell out of, and the earth fell out of or became, when something becomes, or when something falls out of, or falls into something, that means something's happening. So, and the earth and the land, something happened, and the land became confusion, it became unreality. I mean, 3 words in, that's it. And it's already translated wrong. I'm like, why? It can't be just an accident. It can't be by mistake. It's been translated wrong, not by accident, but with purpose. They purposefully did this, I believe. So, and the land became confusion. The land became unreality and void. The land became confusion, unreality, and void is emptiness. So the land became confusion, unreality, emptiness. Go back, too slow, computer. And the land became formless, confusion, unreality, and emptiness, void, emptiness, and darkness was over the face of the deep. What does darkness mean? It became darkness. It became obscurity. Land became obscurity. So instantly, already, things are having different meanings. And I can't believe that I went through 25 years of my life as a Christian. I was raised as a Christian. I was baptized. And I can't believe that nobody ever showed this to me. Nobody ever told me, hey, when you're studying and when we're preaching to you, that it's not quite exactly what it means. And this book that's so revered and so followed, people say it's divine word, and there is some divine in it, but it is not what they think it is. So, and the land became confusion and emptiness and darkness, void, darkness, obscurity. There we go. Obscurity. And the land became confusion, emptiness, and obscurity was over. Was over. Come on, bring it to me. Upon. Was upon. Above. From Allah. Upon, about, right down here. Upon, about, above. According. According. The account. Sorry. Get a little info here. And so the earth equals land, was equals became, confusion, formless equals confusion or unreality, void equals emptiness, darkness equals obscurity, over is upon or above. So what is the face? Upon or above the face of the deep. Upon or above the face. Upon or above, face, faces, above. Once again, face means above, abroad. So the land became confusion, unreality, and emptiness and obscurity was upon and above the deep. What is the deep? The deep, the surface of the deep, the face of the deep, the deep. Sea, abyss. So obscurity was upon and above the sea, or the abyss, the depths, the ocean depths, the springs. Could even mean springs. So the land became confusion, unreality, and emptiness. And obscurity was upon and above the sea, the abyss, the ocean, or the springs. The surface of the deep and the spirit, surface of the ocean and the sea, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters, the face of the waters. So what is and the Spirit? The wind. Let me pull this up so you can see it and I can highlight it for you. The breath, the wind. So the breath and the wind of God, and if you remember from the first video, what does God mean? God is Elohim, which is plural, male and female, gods and goddesses. So it's not the one God, the only God that I was taught as a kid, and I'm sure many of you were taught. It's not that one God. There's more. It's a group of folks. It's a group of people, ladies and gentlemen. And the spirit, the wind, the breath, so the wind of the Elohim, the gods and goddesses, was hovering over the face of the waters. So right here, we're looking at what God means, just so I can reiterate to those of you that missed the first video. Exceedingly gods, goddesses, great judges, rulers, plurals there. And if you come right over here, plural of Eloah. Let's check that out. What is Eloah to define God, God, gods? So this is the singular of Elohim, Eloah. Elohim is the plural, the gods and goddesses. There's more than one, and that's the most important thing that you can get out of the beginning of all of this, is because that was the one thing that made the biggest difference to me, ladies and gentlemen, is that God isn't one guy. It's not like a white-bearded Santa sitting up in the sky. It was a group of Elohim, extraterrestrial beings that were intelligent. And so the land became formless. The land became confusion, unreality. Obscurity was upon and above the sea. And the breath, or the wind of the Elohim, of the gods and goddesses, of the group of beings, was hovering over the face of the waters. Check this out. What is was hovering? Was hovering is one word. To grow soft and to relax. So was hovering over. They grew soft and they relaxed. So the breath or the wind of the Elohim relaxed. They relaxed upon or above, which is the face. Come on, computer. Was hovering over. We looked at that a second ago. Was over, which meant upon. Was hovering, was relaxed. So, and the breath and the wind of the gods and goddesses was relaxed upon the face, which we know means upon or over. So upon and upon, twice in a row, or upon and over the waters. What is the waters? Waters should mean waters. Waters, waters. The flood. Holy cow. It was the flood and the pool. Right down there. Right here. So we're talking about the land became confusion, unreality. The sea became confusion, unreality, and emptiness, and obscurity was upon and above the sea, the abyss, and the breath and the wind of the Elohim, the gods and goddesses, relaxed upon or above the pool or the flood. So it sounds to me like they were relaxing outside of the pool. These guys were hanging out, relaxing. So it just is amazing that they can't be by accident. It can't be by accident that they translated this wrong. It is so wrong that it doesn't even mean the same thing. It's not even close. And so I would ask you to question what you know. As I showed now in Genesis 1:1 and Genesis 1:2, that all the words are confused. All the words are confused, folks, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go right back here to the front and just give ourselves a quick comparison before we wrap this up here. Down here to the King James. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Well, after we look at the real meanings using the Hebrew, this being the Old Testament, we come up with the land became confusion, unreality, and emptiness. Obscurity was upon and above the sea, the ocean, and the breath, the wind of the gods, plural, the Elohim, relaxed upon or above the pool or the flood, whichever way you want to look at it. But obviously, it has been translated wrong, and it has been translated wrong not by accident, but rather with purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to give a quick shout out to Stephanie. Stephanie, you know who you are. Thank you for being a big supporter of mine and commenting on previous videos. And if you want to get a shout out, folks, comment on my videos, comment on this video. Let me know who you are. Let me know who's watching. And if you get value from the content that I provide, then please consider subscribing. We're going to stop the share here, come back in, and ladies and gentlemen, folks, people of all ages, have a good evening.